Islands in the stream, that is what we are. Island? But it's spelled Island! Ah! Island, a word that conjures up tropical paradise and a place where influencers go to find true love. But also it conjures up my blood pressure because the second letter is S. Now I'm sure there's a simple explanation for this quirk in spelling that doesn't go back to the Norman invasion of England in 1066. Oh wait, no, it does go back to the Norman invasion of England. The earliest recording we have of English is Old English, brought over to what is now Scotland by the Anglo-Saxons. Now the Old English word for island was island, but it was spelt differently. The Old English spelling of the word island changed until we actually had at one point I-L-A-N-D, which would have made sense. But then the French turned up and everything kind of went haywire. Essentially, after the conquest of England by the Normans, French became the language of the nobility and written English was essentially stamped out. It was still spoken, however, by the commoners. And the roughly 300 years that the French were in control of England saw the influx of thousands of Latin-derived French words into the English language, including the French word for island, île, which comes from the Latin insula. So in the 16th century, following the end of French Norman rule in England, written English began to sort of re-establish itself. Thing is, the people who were driving the re-establishment of written English were often scholars of ancient Greek and Latin. And these, for lack of a better word, snobs, were intent on trying to link a lot of the English language back to the far more prestigious Latin and ancient Greek, darling. Despite the fact that, like it or not, a lot of English just goes back to Old English, the commoner's tongue, governor, don't forget about us. The word island fell victim to these classical pedants who, instead of spelling it the Old English way, they linked it to the French word île, which comes from Latin insula. So in keeping with the French word île, which had a silent S in it, these lexicographers inserted an S into the word island. So essentially, the spelling of the word island is thanks to a typo. The cruelest irony, of course, is the fact that the French don't even spell île with an S anymore. Instead, they use this little thingamajig called a circumflex above the I to represent the fact that it's followed by a silent S.
En français.
So that's the reason we spell island the way we do. I'm Rupert, building Spellcaster to support phonics, phonemic awareness, and spelling for older learners. Lover of the English language despite its madness. Lover of the French despite their madness. Take a look at Spellcaster. I'll see you later.
Islands in the stream, that is what we